when you are that creative and you start talking to a non-creative person and you're laying all these ideas on them, here's what happens, bro. They get totally lost. And now they feel inferior.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the Wrestling Outlaws. I am here with Vince Russo, EC3, the Outlaws themselves. How are you gentlemen doing?
I'm great, but the internet wasn't after my head this week, so I don't know about Uncle Vince over there. I guess apparently he made some comments based on his personal opinion that got blown way out of proportion. Classic Vince Russo, but I'm great. Yeet. Total. No yeet. Yeet.
That's actually,
I am doing good, Dr. Chris. I'm doing good.
Indeed. EC3?
Yeah, I just want, I had a rough couple days. Like, the World Tour took a lot out of me. I'm coming back from Australia. Found myself, getting right back in the mix. I'm training people. I'm dealing with things. I'm making things happen. I'm in the gym. And, I just broke down. Physically and mentally. In 2 days, I've slept, just off sleep, and just sitting there alone with my demons, which was scary. But I talked to Vince this morning, and he kind of got me back in the swing of communicating as a human. And I went and did some rehab, some physical therapy, a cold bath, a hyperbaric chamber, had a coffee with a friend, and now I'm better. So I'm ready to rock this.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, we got the Wyatt 6 EC3 that's debuted on a recent episode of Raw, and you being close to Bray Wyatt, having a really good relationship with him. What do you think of Bo Dallas leading the fray when it comes to the Wyatt 6 faction?
I mean, if anybody is to, it should be and would be. It has to be him. I mean, I was close as a friend in the business. I mean, that's the closest person to him in his entire life. That's his brother. Yeah. I just knowing what their bond is, how close they were, how close the family is, it's almost serendipitous in a masterful storytelling way that from Wyndham it gets handed down. So, like I was telling Vince earlier today on the 3 brand on the Russo network, shout out. Bo's very, very, very bizarrely creative as well. And I would say he's like a freer spirit than even a Wyndham would be. So if it's free reigns to get weird, it will get weird. I know it's something they discussed in the past as bringing to life. So it's cool to see it come to life. And from all raves and reviews I've heard about the segment, including from Vince, he said he couldn't take his eye off it, and that's a good thing.
Let me ask you this, EC3. You mentioned something interesting there. You said that Bo's creative juices, are really, really good. Now, clearly, he didn't get a chance to showcase that during the Vince McMahon era. He was Bo Dallas, which was really funny in NXT, tried to translate on the main roster, didn't translate too much. The team with him and Curtis Axel, the B team, that was funny. They had a title reign, but it was short. Why didn't we see that with the Vince McMahon era as far as just the creative abilities of Bo Dallas?
I think one thing, he's still he's a young guy still. When he came in through the systems, through developmental, I don't want to say it was easy for him, but he was hooked up. His father's Mike, the family was born into it. Where maybe people that come from indie scenes or other, they understand there's kind of a struggle and a fight to get what you want. There's the negative saying of politics, but it's also a very necessary thing. That maybe his vast creativity, I think he let himself go, and not let himself go, but that creativity flow in other aspects of life where wrestling became kind of the job to him. You're only capable of pulling off what you're given to, So you mentioned like Bo Dallas, that was fun, and the B team, that was fun. Like those are crappy gimmicks that he made fun, and he got them over. So maybe now with some maturity, some age, and even the reality of the situation, that he grows into that, I guess, spirit his brother had, but being able to portray it on screen, and this being the right opportunity, the right place, the right time, and the right people behind it. So we'll see.
Vince, I'm going to pass that question over to you as well. Why don't you think that Bo Dallas had an opportunity to become at the top of the heap as far as just talent is concerned during the Vince McMahon era? During the Vince McMahon era, if this creativity is so vast in him as well.
You know, bro, Vince didn't get a lot of things, bro. I guarantee you, like, Vince watching that Firefly Funhouse did not understand that, like, whatsoever. So, you know, my God, bro, it's almost like the Raven effect. You know, Raven, you know, was almost so creative, you know, that it hurt him. Because, bro, what happens is when you are that creative and you start talking to a non-creative person and you're laying all these ideas on them, here's what happens, bro. They get totally lost. And now they feel inferior. And now they feel like you're smarter than they are. I mean, that's the whole mindset in professional wrestling, bro. I mean, that's what Warrior. I mean, that's what plagued Warrior his whole life. He was so smarter than everybody else, bro. And when he would have a conversation with them, like, they could not be on his level, and therefore he made them feel stupid and inferior. And if people feel stupid and inferior, bro, they're gonna hold that against you. So, you know, you got to be careful, bro, in wrestling when you're that creative, man.
Yeah, and I think you're often told what to do as a talent, and maybe until later in life and a couple misgivings and bad decisions and, you know, heartbreak, firings, things of that nature, you kind of pick up the game a little bit more. But when they brought him in, too, Vince doesn't know what's going on developmentally. He doesn't know what's going on in NXT. We're numbers, really. What do we have here? Bo Dallas. What is he? No, he's like a white meat babyface, Vince. You know, he comes out, okay, good. He's got a smile. Yeah. He's got a smile. And then after a while, like, you're not smiling big enough. Your smile's not authentic. It's just obsessing over a smile where it's just kind of leaves you deluded and jaded. Like, what do you want out of me, dude? Like, I can't make smile any bigger. So I think by being given that starts a run where he doesn't realize, or maybe he did try and I don't know these things, but like pounding on the office, maybe dressed as Uncle Howdy, going skiddly doo doo doo, and like into Vince, maybe that would click him out of getting it. But a lot of times too, like Vince says, when you're pitching something and it's over the heads of some, take banning moves in a wrestling promotion to make them mean something. For example, in lieu of everyone seeing, oh, this is a good idea because this is going to do this, they banish you and yell at you and, you know, make up things about you. So sometimes your creativity can go over the head. You know, I learned that the easy ways and the hard ways because I'm a super genius.
Super genius. Fantastic.
Yeah, bro. One of the things about wrestling, bro, like, if you make higher ups feel stupid, that's like the kiss of death, bro. Like the absolute, like, I am. And bro, here's the sad part. Like again, I'm going to use Raven as an example. Bro, he didn't even realize what he was doing because he's that smart. So when he's laying out something to Vince creatively or a Bruce creatively, and he's got pages and pages and pages, he doesn't even realize, bro, they're not grasping this. They're not getting it. You're making them feel stupid, and they're going to hold that against you because he like, he was just on another level, and I'm sure Bray was on that exact level.
Yeah.
And I think Bray opened himself up to it, like even coming in as the Wyatt family and something different. Immediately, Vince is, I don't know what this is, but it seems like it's working. So, but then the problem was, this Firefly Funhouse is working. Let's burn it down and change everything. Let's make the lights red. Why? Because let's make him kick out of every move at one. But nobody can beat because. Well, then, no, it's not working. Goldberg, go beat him in Saudi Arabia. All right, cool. Sweet.
Did Vince ever? What was the shift? So Vince, you worked with Vince, mid to late 90s. EC3, you worked with Vince 5 years ago.
I'd say 4, not necessarily with.
So did he have any? Did he have a say at all? And when you came to the main roster, was he heavily involved?
Not heavily involved, but the second time, the numbers are down. We need to do something drastic. Well, we can just call a bunch of people up for no reason. Let's do that. Who do you got? Okay. And I think with the call-ups we had, it was Heavy Machinery, myself, Nikki Cross. Forgive me. I think
was Lacey Evans one of them?
Lacey too. We were people in NXT biding time more so than people figured in deeply in the creative. So we were, I don't say expendable, but like they could sink or swim on the main roster. We'll see. Like we didn't need much. So it's kind of throwing them out there. And then Vince, well, who are these people? Well, here's a package, sir, on EC3. Sees one promo. Oh, he shouldn't talk like that. He should be a weatherman. He should never talk. Okay, good idea, boss. So I never spoke. Like that was the extent of it. And had I realized that earlier, I would have gone out talking and swinging far sooner than I did, meekly and injured.
Bro, he was not Chris. I'm telling you, bro, and I'm not bitter or anything like that. I mean, bro, he was not the creative genius that people think he was. I mean, I'm just telling you, Chris, this was his strong point, without a shadow of a doubt, better than anybody in the world. You give him a complete script, bro, A through Z, 12 pages. He will go through that script, find the nuances, punch little things up, and if that script was an 8, it is now a 10. But you've got to give him a complete script. The blank piece of paper, bro, write a show, create characters, horrible. Absolutely horrible, bro. You had to give him something that he could work from.
Yeah, I would definitely say he ruthless business acumen we could never understand. But with that kind of thinking, I don't think you have the vast weirdness to live in a creative little world where art supersedes financial gain.
So to your point, Vince, go ahead, East.
Yeah, I would just say if we're reading books, he's reading Warren Buffett and I'm reading Rick Rubin. Like maybe the same can be said for Vince Russo too. Mindset wise, that's all.
Sure. When you say that, Vince, as far as like the 10 out of 10 based on an 8 out of 10, it makes me think of like pre-Attitude Era WWE with like Bastion Booger and Quang and T.L. Hopper. Like it's just
Aldo Montoya,
Mantar,
Freddie Joe Floyd, who,
the Goon,
The Goon,
yeah. Like,
what do they call that guy on the hockey team that just beats people up? You mean the Goon, Vince? Yeah, we'll have the Goon.
Yeah, the Goon. Yeah. Were those Vince creations, or did Pritchard have something?
That was a lot of Bruce, bro. But Vince approved it. I mean, it's Vince's company. At the end of the day, he's got to approve that stuff. But those were Bruce creations.
Where? How is that going to boost up the ratings by having all those people be a part of the show?
Bro, I'll never, Chris, I think I've told you this story, but my office was next to the woman who would draw up like the costumes for these characters. So in other words, if Bruce says, yeah, I got this Mantar character, blah, 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 she would render the drawing. So Chris, she was right next to my office. So when she wasn't in her office, I would sneak in there and I would see the drawing she was working on. Yeah. Okay, so I knew what was coming up. Bro, when I saw her working on what, bro? Who was going to have a tag team partner named what? When I saw that, I was like, you guys are dead in the water.
Yikes.
Who and what, bro?
Yikes. Yeah, and people
managed by why?
Yes, managed by why.
Was her hometown where?
Oh yeah, you knew that all that was coming.
Where was the new parts unknown? So yeah, you have how are you doing the
yeah, I was just saying
yeah. Your 4 W's trying
who,
to get back.
What, where, when, and how.
Yeah. So I was talking. I was about to ask you a question as far as just the you were saying, oh yeah. So people, it's interesting because people would have they don't crap on Vince. I mean they do, but not as much as like a Jim Herd when Jim Herd had the ding dongs back in the day. And what's different? What was really different in like 1991 WCW versus like 1995, 94 WWE? Like it was still over the top, leading to nowhere gimmicks that just tanks the ratings. And so, to your point, you know, if you were to work with Jim Herd, Vince, how would you have described even the thought of that opportunity?
Well, if he had the ding dongs, I would have had the ring dings, bro.
There you go.
Can you imagine that match? The ring dings against the ding dongs, bro. That's got dollar signs written all over it.
100%.
Bro, you know, again, EC3 will tell you this. Bro, your character's got to be an extension of your personality because these people are not actors. So you got to give them something that's real and comes across to the people as real. Who the freak are the ding dongs, bro? That's the problem, bro. You got to get in the psyche and inside their head and find out who these people are.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about your war of words with Shane Helms is we're commissioned.
Oh no, he got into with Sugar.
No, bro. Listen, EC3. I don't start anything. I finish. I don't start nothing.
Can I just, before we get into this,
you're the payoff pitcher.
My close friends in the business sometimes grab me by the shoulder and I haven't seen in a while, and they go, "What are you doing hanging out with Russo, man?" So here's another one.
Wow,
this is cool.
Yikes! So people yank you.
I just did a show with Conrad, and he said to me, I swear to God, he just said to me, Vince, do you know how many people, like, they hear I'm doing a show with you, and do you know how many people, oh, why are you doing a show with him? Why are you doing a show with Russo? And Conrad says, bro, I look at them and I say, have you ever had a conversation with him? Mm-hmm. Have you like ever? And he said, Vince, the answer 100% of the time is no.
Yeah. Well, when you're so tied up into the bubble,
is it because of this?
It's precisely because
no, it's putting the finger.
Yep. Yeah. They're offended, Vince. They're offended at you, and they couldn't care anything about anything else. As soon as you put the finger on the nose, it's a wrap for them.
Oh,
No heat.
No yeet. No yeet. So this is what Helm said. Here's the exchange. I was better on on-air character than 80% of WWE roster. That was an article that was tagged. Hurricane quoted the tag with horse bleep. And Vince says, and I hope you're doing well too, Shane.
You see my answer? You see our EC3, he said horse shit, and what did I answer? I hope you're doing well too, Shane. See?
it's a good thing to do.
He says,
Well,
go ahead, Ace.
no, I was just gonna say, like, when you put your opinion publicly, people are going to accept it, or they're going to be detractors of it, and that's the cookie that crumbles. And Shane said his piece, horse, and you said, "Oh, cool." Like it's not a war of words as much as one guy's opinion on another guy's opinion, and it ended fairly clean.
Well, because when I said, I hope you're doing well too, Shane, then he backpedaled. Go ahead, Chris. Read the backpedal, bro. This is a backpedal right here.
Yep. He said, I can dig the bravado, but we're all our own biggest fans. But come on now. Vince Russo says, I'll let the heat I got speak for itself.
Right.
And if, to be impartial as a gentleman caller, wait, what? A friend to both. I threw myself off with the gentleman caller line. I'm sorry. Context is always key, right? So Vince, that was about the death of WCW, and I think we talked about it earlier, that you found yourself at that moment far superior to 80% of the people in the metric you deemed important, which at that time was buzz, ratings, and heat. So I don't think there's anything wrong with what you said, because you had massive heat.
Yeah, no, listen, bro, I knew EC3 knows that. I'm not telling me nothing. You know, he's a student, EC3. Chris, I was a heel. Here's my job description. Get as much heat as you possibly can. The more heat you get, the more the babyface is going to get over. And you know what, bro? I think I did my job in the 80 percentile of WCW, bro. Period. I don't take it back. Yes, I had heat, bro. And the reason why I got heat was to get the baby faces over. Chris, are we not talking about that every week?
Absolutely we are. The critics, Vince, would ask, who'd you get over? What would your answer be?
Wait, say that again now?
The critics would ask, who did you get over?
Oh, I got Reed Flair over. What was he, 12? I got Reed Flair over, bro, for crying out loud. They wanted that little punk to kill me, man.
Yeah, they did.
Would it be fair to say you got Booker T over as a big babyface? Or was he on his way prior to this?
Nah, I think Booker was over on his own. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who else is.
I think it was. I think putting the title on Booker put him over the top.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I think doing that put him over the. But Mike, bro, I was in angles with Flair. I was in angles with Goldberg. I mean, I wasn't there long. I was only an on-screen character, bro, for about 6 months. But, you know, the people I was in angles with, my whole thing was get heat, get them over.
To be fair, too, and I think they cut the rug short on the long term of what you were doing to finally get somebody over as a babyface, too. Because, like, getting Reed over as a 12-year-old is cool, but how much return business is that? And right. Goldberg's already over, Booker's over. If I'm going back in my brain, which is a nightmare, but I do feel like there was like a cusp of a lot of like the new blood, so to speak, on the rise, getting over, and then it kind of pulled.
Vince, was there anybody you were trying to go to bat for that you wanted to be an on-screen character who weren't already over? Like, from what I recall in 2000, the people that you were feuding with were already over. Was there anyone that was backstage that you wanted to be in a feud with that was on the cusp that was like mid-card level?
Well, bro, you know what the funny thing is? Bro, in the New Blood versus the Millionaires angle, bro, when that was originally written, the New Blood were supposed to be the baby faces, bro. The Legends were supposed to be the heels who would not give up their spots. What happened, bro, was the New Blood became the heels. And I think part of the reason they became the heels was because of me. Because I was this New Yorker and people, hate New Yorkers. So it wasn't just about getting baby faces over. I think a lot of guys became heels simply by being with me. But yeah, bro, we had so much young talent, bro, involved like in that angle, bro. Like there wasn't really one guy in particular. I just wanted to really try to raise the level of all those mid-carders that were just stuck,
Wasn't Helms a part of 3 Count during the time?
And that was tremendous. That was Jimmy Hart's idea.
3 Count.
Tremendous.
Yeah. Oh man, dude, I still
can't get you out of my heart. Yes, with the circles, they would perform in the ring, and then when Tank Abbott was a part of 3 Count, that was hilarious. That had to be a Vince thing. Was that a Vince thing?
You know what, bro? I actually think they did that when I left.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes.
Huh. That was funny. That was weird. It was awkward, but it was really funny. If there's any place to use Tank Abbott on WCW, it was there because him as a character just wasn't really getting over very well. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to read the exchange. Go back for those reading, for those looking at this, go to the Hurricane Helms and Vince.
But I do want to say this. Let me just say this, Chris, and I want EC3 to know this too. It ended on a good note because I didn't fire back at him. I mean, I'm not going to do that, bro. I'm not going to fire back at you. So it wound up ending on a good note.
That's the thing about cordial discourse that we seem to be getting. We should have more opinion, disagree, little bit of banter, state your case, respect it, don't agree, you're cool, thank you. Likewise.
That's
it. Down the road.
Yeah, Vince, there weren't any ad hominem attacks thrown out there, so you actually reeled it in seemingly. You actually had the leverage here in this chess game of communication here, and you had the last word, and there wasn't any pushback.
EC3 just said something very interesting because, bro, I took that same approach with Ric Flair, and look what happened. I took the same too. Well, not so much backpedaling, but I made him remember. Oh yeah, Vince did do a lot for my son. Maybe that should supersede everything else. I really made him think about, Rick was not the most important thing I did was to try to help your flesh and blood. Like that should supersede everything. If that were my kid, that would supersede everything. And I think when I said that to him, bro, it made him realize, you know what? Yeah, it kind of should. He did a lot for my son, but it's just like EC3 said, bro. I'm not going to go back with an attack on these people. I mean, what is that going to accomplish but just generate more hate?
Yeah. You don't think he backpedaled from starting off saying that you killed WCW?
I don't want to use the word backpedal, bro. I think I just made him realize, you know what, bro, I kind of did a lot for your son. Maybe you should appreciate that a little bit more.
I think he backpedaled from saying, he started off by saying Vince Russo killed WCW with Jim Herd and Eric Bischoff. And then he starts off, and then he says, well, I mean, maybe.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. So
I think Dr. Chris is just using that super brain to stir the pot a little bit.
Of course.
Bubba got on me too about the 80%. Bubba had something to say last
time.
Well, he wasn't even in WCW though.
No, I know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, that's going to stir some ire of. I mean, that's like saying that you're better than 8 out of every 10 wrestlers at backstage. There's only 2 better than you backstage.
Chris, to my defense, how many people are on the WCW roster? Come on, Chris.
Back then?
Yes. Come on. Okay, bro.
Luchador City.
If we started going through names, it would be the top 20. I'm not
talking Dandy.
Yes, I'm not
Super
talking.
Callow, La Parka. I thought he was pretty good.
Yeah, obviously I'm not talking Page, Hogan, Flair, Nash, and obviously I'm not talking them.
You're talking Viano 5 and.
Thank you.
Well, I think one thing about the professional wrestlers aspect and view that can come back on Vince is the fact we're in the ring doing the bumps and the work, taking the physical toll, where your comment wasn't about that. It was about what was needed in the moment.
Yes.
But it's like EC3 in WWE, like Paul Heyman saying he's the top 20% of the company and me being mad at it. Like, he has way more value than me. He's in a prime spot. He's managing the champ. He's doing all of these things. He's garnering a ton of heat. I'm working No Way Jose on main event for the 18th time in a row. Like, Paul Heyman has more value than me, despite the fact I'm taking bumps.
Hey, watch out now, EC3. No Way Jose was a bad mamma jamma, man.
He is still one. We're in a fantasy football league together, okay?
What is he doing nowadays?
I think living a real life. Oh, good for him. I think he's getting in the mix, though. I think he's still doing some.
Still doing indie stuff?
I'm going to hit him up.
Yeah. Let me know how he's doing.